Hey guys, welcome to Bar Z. My name's Stan, and today we got a package from Adam, and I already knew this was coming. He sent something in for a regrind, and he got it back, and he wasn't completely happy with it, so he thought he'd send it to me to take a look at it. And came in a Stannett box. Good things come in Stannett boxes. Got two things here actually. Uh, at the risk of switching topics. He sent me a piece of mystery metal. This has been cratered and rusted on these sides, but it's a fresh bandsaw cut here. But we want to test, see how hard this thing's going to get. So I'm going to surface grind this whole thing, cut it in half, heat treat one side, and leave the other side just in its normal state, and then we'll do a comparison, hardness wise, and then if it does in fact get quite a bit harder, then we'll take it back to the oven and temper it down. You know, I'm going to just use oil hardening methods because we don't know what the structure of this metal is. So we're going to give it a try. It sure rusts easy. There's a little surface rust right here already, just from the time he bandsaw cut it to me. So that tells me there's some carbon in there. If there's carbon in it, it has no choice in the matter. It's going to get hard. So that's one project, but we're not doing that right now. We're doing something else. So I'm going to put that back in the shop towel and put it over here. He sent me a big job of paper and another little red Stannett box. So we got the big Stannett box and then the little Stannett box. And here's a repair order. Here's your repair order number right there. We appreciate you using the LS Stannett Company for your tool repair. If you have any questions or concerns pertaining to this repair, please contact our repair department at blah 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 or email at blah blah blah. Please provide purchase order if applicable. Visit us on the web, stannett.com. Okay, well, he sent it to Stannett, not Stannett. So let's see what Stannett can do for him. Let's see what it is first. Okay, what he sent, it's a square, and it's got a ground base, it's hollow, and then it's got a face here. This is all surface ground here, but then there's a little V groove over here on the side, and you just tighten this to clamp a ruler in vertically. And what Adam said is this groove isn't square, so not much scale's not very handy if it's not completely square. So we're going to check it two ways. We're going to call the base a master because it's actually nicely ground and actually polished. So the base looks really good. Here I can see that it's been freshly reground on this face, and it looks like they got in to the fence a little bit here. Let's uncover the plate. Got my rubber mat on here, so let's uncover the plate and get this thing, find some way to measure this. We're going to measure this surface to make sure we're standing up straight here, and then most importantly, we're going to measure the V groove here on the side to make sure it's nice and vertical. So there's your profile there. It's just got a little bit of a dovetail to it, just so your ruler doesn't come out. And I think you could fit almost any size scale into this thing. But what we'll do is we'll clamp in a parallel. We'll check a parallel, make sure it's truly parallel. I've got some working parallels I can use, but they get beat around. But we'll check the parallel, make sure it's within a couple tenths. Then we'll clamp the parallel in here, and then we'll make a sweep along the side of the parallel. You know, find out how far out we are. All right, so let me kind of clean this up, and we'll get going on. Okay, well, first and foremost, I thought I'd show you a little close-up of this this tool. And it's just got a little a knob over here and a clamp with a slider. And it's kind of a surface gauge. It's got the slots on the side for your fingers to slide around. And what you do with it, you can just take a standard width ruler, which is usually just a 1-inch rule, or a scale. I think it might even pinch down on a small scale. And you just give it a little snug there. and it holds your scale for you vertically. So it's kind of a nice little little setup. The only trouble is, let me get back far enough. I don't know that you can even see it or not, but this thing is tilted. I can see it with my, just without measuring it. I can see that the top is tilted over that way. So we're going to try to get a skinny parallel in there. It's kind of difficult to measure along a little thin surface like this with the Squaremaster. So I'm going to try to get a parallel in there and something I can make a sweep with. So I'm going to use that as a point of reference. So, but that's what that tool is. And we're going to check it out really good. We'll check it out from the base up. Measure this face, make sure it's 90 degrees this way, and that our ruler is coming up 90 degrees this way. So we'll give it a good once over for you, Adam. All right. Okay. Well, I got you set up over here on the side, and I got you set up on the GoPro up there, and that's up on the Squaremaster. So you got your Squaremaster O Vision going there. And we're going to start off by checking the base, and make sure we got a solid surface to work with there. And honestly, coming right out of the gate, I don't like what I feel, but we're going to measure it. I'm not digging what I'm feeling right there. I'm feeling some kind of movement on the base, so we're going to bring it down. At least grab a little reading here. And that's, wow, full scale. Let me back this off. All right, I'm on 0 there. I'm at the bottom of my scale, and I'm just going to take and I'm going to push my finger down right over here. That's 8. All the way around is 8,000. So that's, I'm going to try to push it down slowly. There's 4, 8, 9. All right. You're going to need a dial indicator to start this little project. Yeah, you got 9 thousandths of base slop there. So something's going on at the bottom of this thing. And honestly, it doesn't look like the bottom has been reground. I kind of wiggle it around on the plate here. And hopefully you can catch a glare on that. I'm seeing a shiny spot across here and down here and over here. And it feels like that's what we're teeter-tottering on, is this line right here. So, and the grind up here looks good, but I think I'd rather just take this, put it in the vise with this true and square, with it sitting upside down, and just grind the base flat again to match the side. That way I don't have to mess around with a V groove in this face here. But we'll use this as a reference surface. Okay, but we're gonna have a weird clamping situation. We've got a true face here, and we've got an angled face here. We're gonna have to use a round rod trick to get this to true up in the vise. So, okay, that's our first test. I don't know whether it's gonna do us any good to check for square at this point. We can. So far out of whack, it's hard to say what it's going to do. It just falls right off. Let's get up on 0 here. Okay, I'm just going to sweep down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's just, this thing's out of whack. So let's get this thing apart and figure out how we're gonna set this up in a vise squarely. We have to set it up square in 2 directions. This surface here and this surface here. But you've already seen how far out it is. It's not great. Oh, here's another test we can do. Let me grab a 1, 2, 3 block. And we're going to check these for parallel. Wipe them down here real quick. I'm going to check these for parallel before we get carried away. Alright, so I'm pretty happy there. Back to 0. Okay, so that thing's within a tenth. Let's take and set this surface right here this freshly ground surface. I'm going to show both cameras because I don't know which edit I'm going to use. I'm just going to set it down on top of this 1, 2, 3 block, and now I'm going to make a vertical sweep here and here on this base and see you know, how far out of whack that is. Maybe that thing's just, maybe we just need a base grind here. Okay, so we're happy we're at a 0 there. Start bringing it up. Oh, look at that thing. Boom, just drops right off. Wowzers. All right, let me 0 it up on top. This thing is really out of square. All right, I'm going to 0 it at top and I'm going to sweep down, which is not what I usually do, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm at the bottom of my part there, and I'm only 2/1000ths off of full scale. All right, so we need to figure out a way to mount this in the toolmaker's vise squarely here and along this fence, and we need to be able to come in here and grind this top and get this top all ground in. And I think I've got a way to do it. So let me go grab a vise and we'll see if we can get it fixed up in there. Okay, well, we got both cameras rolling again, and this is my setup, and I'm going to show you what I'm using and let you kind of stare down at what I'm doing here. Well, first on this side, here's the V groove. I'll get you in a little closer. Here's the little dovetail down the side, and I've just butted that in tight to the side of the vise. So that's butted in there. This ground surface under here is laying flat against this vise jaw. And then our unequal side on the back, I've got a piece of aluminum tubing it's actually hardened tubing. It's pretty stiff. It's going to crush and deform a little bit, and hopefully, you know, conform to the surface just enough to give me some holding power. And after we're in the vise, we can use a square master again, and you know, check these surfaces here and here, make sure we're, you know, pretty darn square, and go from there. So let me tighten this up here. I want to see how that feels in there. That's pretty darn solid. Okay. It didn't deform as much as I thought it would. That angle sure looks like it's going to spit that part out. I need a screwy ball, Chuck. Where's my screwy ball? Let me turn on the GoPro, and now that we know where this is vertical on 2 different planes, let's make some sweeps around this base and see how far out of whack it is. You know, now we know we're sitting down nice and flat on everything. Everything's square over on this reference plane. But let's see what the top's doing. See how far out the top is. I'll let this camera run, and I'll turn on the GoPro, and we'll just come down here and around here, and oh, look at that. Okay, that's right out of the gate. No bueno. 0 it here. This looks like the low side. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. These are the numbers I was getting when I was making my vertical sweeps. So, you know, this kind of instills confidence. All right, that's full scale. That's my whole indicator there. I got nothing left. So this thing is so far out of whack on that plane, it's not even funny. Pass a 2x4 through that. All right, so our high spot's right here. We're going to touch off right there. Okay. Let's get over to the surface grinder and grind this sucker up. Okay, here's our final rig. I put a big chicken clamp on here just to make sure that my fence doesn't come off the side of the vise. I wasn't real crazy about the way this is pinching down on there, and we're elevated here. Nothing up here is touching. It looks like it's touching, but there's a few thousandths in between that movable jaw and this base. So the only thing we're catching is that last little bit. This is a good strong piece. I'm not worried about it flexing too much, but we got a lot to take off. We're going to be plowing off a lot of material, and I just want to be able to plow through it and not worry about this thing slipping in the vise. So I put a chicken clamp on there sideways just to keep that dovetail pinched up against the vise and keep it plumb. All right, so let's get over to the surface grinder and start cutting through this thing. Okay, getting pretty darn close. Just got from here around the corner to here. That'll be it. I'm in bad need of dressing the wheel, but I'm going to go ahead and finish the clean all the way to the corner, and then I'm going to stop, take this off, redress the wheel, and we'll give it a final with a nice clean wheel. Okay, we got one last little corner right here, but my wheel is badly loaded, and I'll do that last little bit with a fresh wheel and make my final passes. But I'm going to take this big nasty mess over to the sink, wash it, clean my plate, dress my wheel, and you're ready to get a fresh grind on that thing. We removed an awful lot of material. Okay, we got a fresh dress on the wheel. We got our plate clean. Got our vise clean. This just came out of the sink. Get this dude back in where it was. And we'll put you guys back where you were. You were right about here-ish, I think. And we need to touch off again. Now it doesn't matter where we touch off. We're pretty darn flat right now, except for a few bumps from a bad wheel, but we're going to straighten those out here in a second. Okay, crunch. Okay, let's get this out of here. I'll meet you guys back over at the circus plate. So now we're ready to check this base. Before we take it out of the vise, let's see how accurate the grinder's running and how parallel the grinder's running. I check this from time to time before I remove any parts, and that way I know how my the condition of my my mag is. I know whether it needs to be reground or whatever. So if I just give a quick check like this, and if I end up with zeros all the way around, I know my machine's running good. And then the only other source of error is if we got it in the vise wrong, or tipped, or it slipped, or anything like that. But okay, we're on zero on no particular corner, but and we're gonna off, on, off, on. A little bit off there. Off, on. I'm gonna chase that sucker, aren't I? All right. Pretty happy there. All right. Zero. We're gonna shove it down this direction. Come to this corner. Not even a tenth, so I'm pretty happy there. I'm just gonna hook it slowly. And now we're gonna run it over in this direction. Zero. We're happy. Again, another 90-degree turn. Over to this corner. Zero. Happy. I can't swing this. I'll hit the square master. It's about as far as I can go there. I'm falling off right there. Oh, I'm running into the gauge. Yep, I'm done. All right, so yeah, I bent the gauge up. Yeah, so I have really no way to get in here. Oh, maybe I do. Let's try it right here. Okay, 0. Okay. See if we can sneak over to one side here and see if it holds. Nope, I'm bumping in again. So yeah, we're good. We're 0 all the way around. So we're pretty happy there. Let's pull it out of the vise. Here's something I don't know, but I've always thought maybe it'd be fun to check. How parallel is a scale? This is a U.S. made stainless steel, tempered, hardened, yada yada. And I've always liked this scale. It's a nice one, easy to read. Let's get it in here and 0 it, and let's measure a scale. It's going to be tricky because it's so thin, but alright, we're 0'd. I'm just going to start taking it through slow and try to steer it and keep it on top of that flat and let you guys look at the gauge. 2/10, 3/10. Oop, I got off track there. 3/10. Yeah, we're coming up on 4. So it's half the thou, 6/10. So scales are pretty darn accurate. You know, that's not bad for a chunk of flat bar with some numbers on it. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so scales are within half a thou, 6/10. So we know what kind of tolerances we're dealing with.